How's it going, everyone? Matt from Backer Club here again with another creator interview. This time we have Andy Flynn from Potr. He's a recurring Kickstarter creator back again with another new project called Helix. How's it going, Andy?
Hello, Matt. Nice to be on the call today. Going really well. We're based here in sunny Scotland, and as you said, I'm the founder and designer of Potr. And yeah, we're back in Kickstarter with our second project, Helix, the self-watering pot which grows with your plant.
Sweet. So we just have a few questions for you today, and without further ado, we're just going to jump right into it. So for someone that's brand new to Potr, can you give us a brief overview of the brand and what Helix is?
Yeah, of course. So Potter, essentially what we do is we transform waste materials into a range of household consumer goods, which are basically a range of flat pack, self-watering plant pots and vases, which are designed to make plant care simple in the home. Potter was founded just a little over 5 years ago. We kind of popped up during COVID with our first Kickstarter, which was a flat pack, basically an origami self-watering pot made of recycled plastics. And it was a smash on Kickstarter, and that, as the name as Kickstarter is designed to do, kind of kickstarted our small business. And yeah, 5 years later, we're a team of 6 people, and we operate globally. And yeah, we're back for round two.
Very cool. Yeah, we're excited to see where this one goes. So, what makes Helix different from a traditional plant pot and then from your original self watering potter pot?
Yeah, so to give you a quick overview, Helix is, as I said, a self-watering pot which actually grows with your plant. So our kind of design DNA or design heritage is kind of transformational origami. It started with just the simplicity of flat packing the humble plant pot for multiple reasons. It's because it actually makes shipping much, much more efficient. It cuts the carbon footprint. Makes storage really easy for in retail, makes it a very giftable product. But what Helix does is it kind of builds upon that and it takes it a step further. So we use that kind of origami design and engineering to actually allow the pot to actually transform with your plant as it grows, which means that it supports its growth in combination with the self-watering feature through every single stage. So you can actually start by, you can actually propagate cuttings with the product and transform it into fully thriving houseplant. You can actually grow from seed and germinate seeds and turn them into, thriving basil, fresh herbs for the home. Or you can just take an existing houseplant and pot it up after receiving it as a gift and keep your houseplants thriving.
Very cool. So now I understand now why it's called the one pot that grows with your plant. So
Correct.
it
Exactly.
just you can go
Exactly.
all the way through, right from the bottom all the way up through the full thing. Very cool.
100%. Yeah.
Cool. So Helix supports several ways to grow from seed all the way to herb, just like you said, uh, to cutting plants to climbers, humidity domes, and a blackout cone. Which mode do you think that backers will be most surprised by?
Um, I think the propagation has been something that so far during our kind of user testing and trialing has been really, really popular, and is a really kind of like cherry on top of the cake kind of feature. I think because as this product as we've said already, we're combining a lot of features and kind of different ways to grow into the one product, the one system. And propagating, people typically would have a setup with whether it's test tubes or little kind of growing jars, and they would have several of those set up to propagate their cuttings. And often once that cutting has kind of grown roots, you then have to transfer it and kind of pot it up in a new planter. And basically the system keeps it really neat and all in the one container. So yeah, there's something almost quite artistic the way it's been designed. We've got a really great team of designers in house, and we've spent a lot of time actually crafting how that looks. So honestly, maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I think it looks like a work of art when it's in propagation mode and then transforms into a thriving houseplant for the home. So yeah, it's I think that super surprising, and the fact that with the kind of seed germination aspect of it, the being able to grow your own kind of herb garden at home because it's modular and it tessellates the product. So there's lots to get excited about.
Very cool. So can you explain how the like self-watering system actually works and how it, helps you with overwatering and underwatering?
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is probably our number one most asked question. So it's good to address it here to the camera. Um, so yeah, basically the self-watering system. I myself, before founding Potter, a lot of people think that I must have been a very green-fingered person because I now run a brand that takes care of people's plants essentially. But I was the opposite. I was really bad at keeping my plants alive because, like you're saying, I would either overwater or underwater. So Potr Helix essentially is designed and engineered to have two chambers. The lower chamber, the base, holds a reservoir of water, which lasts up to 2 weeks. So it's perfect for if you're going away on your holidays, if you're traveling, or you're just a forgetful plant parent like me. It gives you a nice amount of time where it just does it all for you. So lower chamber holds the water, and the upper chamber holds the soil and your plant. And between those two, we have an engineered capillary action wicking system. Now, what this looks like is effectively is a kind of double back length of we use actually recycled nylon with specifically what's called an open fiber core. So a lot of people, self-watering systems have been around for a while, but the efficiency of them really depends on the construction and the material of the capillary action wicking system itself. And so we've spent a lot of time kind of optimizing that for the system to enable you to have the best self-watering possible for your plants. And the way it actually self-waters is it transfers water from the reservoir up into the soil. As your plant drinks and therefore dries out the soil, the capillary action basically allows the water to continue.
Very cool.
That kind of differential allows it to kind of travel up against gravity. And effectively, your plant takes what it needs. It self-regulates its own water intake for up to 2 weeks at a time. So yeah, go on your holidays, be forgetful like me, and it does it all for you. And it does that through the different stages of growth. So that's the kind of quite unique part that we combine, this changing volume
Whoa.
with the self-watering, which no one else is doing. And as a result, that's the thing that we've actually got the utility patent on with this design. So
Wow.
yeah,
Very cool. So, where did the inspiration for Helix come from? And like, how long have you been working on it? Like, I should say, how long after the last Kickstarter did you start
yeah,
working on it? But
yeah. So I'll answer that with a couple of different points. So Helix, I'd say we've properly been working on it for like the last 18 to 24 months. Um, and we're at a point now where we're literally ready to hit go on production tooling. So anybody who's backing us on Kickstarter will not have a long wait. And actually, the first Kickstarter we did, before we even had a business and team, we did the Kickstarter in September. We delivered before Christmas, so it was probably an unheard of turnaround. But we stupidly promised these as Christmas presents, and we didn't want to disappoint. So we managed to deliver to 49 countries. I think we had 2,000 backers on the first one. So yeah, but if I go back to the start of what Potter was inspired by, initially, my wife and I actually had received some broken plant pots through the post, right? So we were at home during COVID. We received a box. Inside the box, there was copious amounts of bubble wrap, like single-use plastic bubble wraps. And inside those, two out of the three plant pots we'd been gifted had smashed to 1,000 pieces. So we basically, my background is, so I was previously one of the lead designers, engineers at Dyson to vacuum cleaners and hair dryers.
very cool.
Dyson hair care. That was what I did for 8 years or so. And my wife also was a Dyson in marketing commercial. And so we received these broken pots. We had a lot of time in our hands during COVID. And so we decided to do a carbon footprint study of a traditional plant pot. Turns out up to 30% of the carbon footprint actually comes from simply shipping these simple objects from A to B. Because if you think about it, it's a large, heavy,
Yeah.
fragile volume of air, right? So this was like this kind of really interesting insight. Like, well, what I wonder how you could, redesign this to just design out that inefficiency. Hence, that's why we flat pack the designs. So our original product, that's where that came from. Makes them, as we said, easy to transport, store, gift. And then we combined that with the idea of making plant care easier, and that's where the self-washing came in. So Helix, basically, the inspiration really built on that original idea where we wanted to make sure our products are still as accessible as possible so people can send them and share them very, very easily. Um, and then combine that with actually uh, adding functionality to really accommodate the different ways people grow at home. Because what we were finding was our original product was great if you had a houseplant of a certain size. That's the one use case. But people like to experiment, and we were finding that with our customers. We sell in UK is our home market, but we operate in the US, Japan, the EU, and yeah, we're getting all this really 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 useful feedback to say, hey, we would love to see what you guys could do if I wanted to grow you know um, micro broccoli at home. Like, how would we do that, and what would that look like for your products? Or I want to propagate something, my new pothos, because it's overgrowing in the home, or I've got this plan and it requires, I want to be able to use it to climb. So we took all that and we said, hey, well, why don't we design a kind of modular system which can do it all, so to speak? And that's where the inspiration for Helix came about.
Very, very cool. So you've kind of touched on about it, and seems like it's kind of the core of your like kind of business model. But can you talk about the environmental sustainability
Mm.
aspects of this particular project? I know it seems like it's at the core, but maybe talk about just this one.
Yeah, of course. So for Helix, there's a few different things. So obviously, the fact that it's flat pack, as we said, that massively reduces the carbon footprint. Actually, the carbon footprint study we've done on Helix, that actually cuts the carbon emissions by over 100 times during certain shipping case studies. So if you were shipping, say, from UK to US, the efficiency you get on being able to condense and compact our product gives you that reduction in carbon footprint just during shipping. We use it's made entirely from recycled polypropylene, which typically is a single-use plastic. Like, I've got this water bottle here, right? That lid there is polyprop because the reason I know why is because it has this living hinge, and most plastics which have a living hinge are either made from polyprop or HDPE. But in this case, we use recycled polyprop. It's used massively as a single-use plastic all over the place. Often ends up in landfill. So we actually have two production lines. We've got one here in the UK, and we've actually got one over in Asia as well, primarily because we were selling so much to Japan in the last few years. And both locations, we've got a fantastic partners that we work with to actually source or recycle polypropylene. We then recycle that, turn it into products. Because as well, we're only using recycled polyprop. It's basically the entire product is a mono material, which means at the end of life, it's super simple to recycle because you can, let's say, that's if you ever were to recycle it, because
Yeah,
our intention
they
is it's
last
designed for
forever.
longevity and you last
Yeah,
forever, right? Which is actually a really important point because if you take a traditional pot, say made of ceramic or concrete, chances are, over an indefinite timescale, it's going to get knocked, dropped, bumped, and smashed. Um, and so with our product, it's engineered to, I could drop out of the side of this building here and it would float to earth and bounce because it weighs next to nothing because the origami structure is what gives it its strength. And we actually use very, very thin recycled polyprop, actually less than 0.5 millimeters thick. I'm not sure what that is in inches, but in metric, it's a tiny measurement. So that's just a few aspects, but like every design decision we've made on Helix, in kind of combination with the function it's providing, there is a sustainability story that goes alongside that as well. And that kind of underpins everything that we've done. We've actually, very fortunately, I think one of the reasons we've been quite successful over the last few years is we've won a number of awards within that space, like that recognize Potr as a kind of leading product design company within sustainability. So yeah, check our website. Lots of interesting kind of case studies on there.
that's really cool. I love that it's at the core of everything that you kind of do. So design and everything.
Thanks.
So
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah.
So you touched on it a little bit, but can you give us a overview of the team and our partners behind Helix? Like how many people are working
Yeah.
on this with you?
For sure. So we've got a core team of 6 people. So we've got myself and my wife. We're actually a husband wife team, and we're actually
Very cool.
due our first child in 3 weeks. So there's a
Wow.
side story for you. So we've got Kickstarter launch next week. Yeah, 30th of June, and then 2 weeks later, so mid-campaign, we're going to have another launch of a different kind. So anyway, they're coming straight in as a new headcount. But yeah, so we got my wife and I. We run the company together. We then have Joe, who's our in-house product design engineer, super talented, and has been real driving force behind the development of this product Helix. We've then got Molly, who's our in-house kind of filmmaker and content creator. So
Very cool.
previously worked for Netflix actually, and now is working in-house with us, which is awesome. And then we've got Nathan, who's based in New York. So we're actually kind of now split between UK and US, actually, as our
Oh,
team is expanding. And actually, I should say we're actually a US registered entity. We're a US business now as well. So because we're just last year we brought on and kind of really expanded the team into the US. So we've got advisors, board advisors, etc., which are based over there. One of which is also in Florida, in Miami, and then DC and New York as well. So yeah, we've got that's our kind of core ecosystem, our core team, and then we work with a lot of kind of freelancers and
yeah, of course.
agencies and things like this. But yeah, the core team is 6 of us at the moment.
Oh,
Yeah,
very cool. Yeah, keep it lean and mean, but just enough, so
that's it exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
awesome. So you ran the previous Kickstarter campaign for the original Pop back in 2020. Um, so I have to ask, like, with all the ways, since you guys like have an audience now, with all the ways to launch a new product, why'd you come back to Kickstarter for Helix?
Such a good question, and like we have launched a couple of other products since the first one. So we actually have like a letterbox base as well, but those other launches that we've done since the first one, have been quite linked to like specific like B2B, like a lot of them have been like B2B opportunities. So one of the products we developed for another big company that we partnered with here in the UK. And really for us, like Kickstarter is, and I'm sure a lot of people, maybe listening or watching to this will kind of agree, I think, is it is the place to go to for looking for a new and exciting product and like really innovative, cutting edge stuff. Like I myself, as I said, I'm a product designer and mechanical engineer by trade, and ever since I I went to study at college, doing product design back in 2009. And ever since then, I think there's not been a day that goes by that I don't go on Kickstarter to just have a look at it. I'm a pseudo backer of Kickstarter projects. And for me, it's just the logical, makes sense place to go and reveal our product because it's got a large global following. And it's just a great place to kind of, uh, you know, bring it to life. For us, uh, I think kind of the model of Kickstarter, especially for our hardware business, obviously makes so much sense. In terms of it allows us to kind of cash flow some of our capital manufacturing costs up front. That's still really important for us, and just helps kind of smooth that transition. A new product launch is always such a large undertaking, and Kickstarter is, I think, a really crucial part of still getting it off the ground, and really connecting with those. We have a lot of the backers of our first Kickstarter campaign are still like our most loyal customers. So I think it's about
Yeah.
it's the community aspect of it. I think trumps all else. So yeah,
Yeah, we get that a lot with that question. The community. It's a very, very like close knit, very engaged community. Kickstarter is so.
for sure. Like I find that I'm still in touch with or still following products that I have backed on Kickstarter and I've helped bring to life. And it's just cool. Like I love it as a product designer. It's an obsession of mine. So I'm like, yeah, it's just an exciting place to hang out, so to speak, on the internet. But yeah, it's good.
Awesome. So, last but certainly not least, is there anything that you'd like to say directly to the backers?
Absolutely. I think, Helix, obviously check out on Kickstarter. It is absolutely like another level for Potr. If you've been following us at all, if you've seen our previous products, this is really like a complete reinvention of and leveling up of what we've done in the past. And it's a platform and a system which genuinely is going to help thousands of people, hopefully hundreds of thousands of people, transform how you grow a home. I, for one, as I said, is I was not very good at keeping plants, let alone things like herbs, and things that are edible at home alive. And it is something that now having these tools has transformed the way I grow at home, and it's something we're really excited to bring to people. And I think the positive side of it, of this product is as well, because it is has the kind of sustainability aspects embedded into the DNA of the product. With every purchase of one of these, people are actively helping recycle and get rid of, harmful single-use plastics, which otherwise end up in landfill. So, for me, it's that a positive double-edged sword, where we're cleaning up the environment, and at the same time, we're giving you something functionally useful for the home, which maybe you're going to start a new healthy eating habit, using the Helix growing system. So yeah, check out, and yeah, Kickstarter is the place to get it first.
Very cool. Well, there you have it. Andy Flynn with Potter. Go check out Helix on Kickstarter, and if you like it, give it a pledge. Thanks a lot for your time today, Andy.
Thanks so much, Matt. Speak soon.
Take care. Bye bye.